you go to pre-testing, here you're talking about it's before you've got the finished artwork and finished photography. You're wanting to make some final changes and tweaks before you release this thing. So you'll go out and do some testing. So an example of a pre-test could be you've got heat mapping of the way the eyes move around when they're watching a television ad. And do I have the right visuals to sustain long period of attention? And are people watching and looking at the right things in the ad? Because if you haven't got those things, if you're not keeping people's attention, and if they're not looking in the right places, you've missed it. Okay? Research problem could be, I want to do print testing. If I run this ad in a magazine, this is a dummy magazine, right? It's been sliced in there along with other real ads. You let people page through magazines, and in there they're finding these hidden ads, and then you go back and you say, we're a car company. Do you remember seeing any car ads, or car ads in the magazine? Yeah, I do. Okay, do you remember which ones you saw? And if they can tell you, yeah, I saw Ford and I saw Volkswagen, and those are the two ads that you put in there, you know that it stood out. It was memorable. So that's a good thing in advertising, and you know that you've been effective, so you've got a good thing going. You can also look at techniques. You can say, okay, we're going to do some consumer jury type of things. We're going to pull a group of consumers together and have them talk about the ad. You could do matched samples or portfolio tests, or a storyboard test. The storyboard test is before you've actually shot the ad, you show them a sketch of a storyboard, almost looks like a cartoon strip, and you walk them through, this is the way the ad is going to work, and you get their opinion. Is this, if you saw this, would this lead you to believe more strongly than you do today that this is a quality product in general, right? You're minimizing your expense by testing up front, have I got something that's going to be effective, right? And then post-testing. Timing is going to be after the campaign's run. And this will tie back to that DeVry example I gave you. We were able to see that we had shifted opinions and attitudes about the DeVry brand by testing after periods of time. Like maybe every 13 weeks we'd go back out into the market and survey again using a panel study. We'd say, how do you like us now? Have we moved the needle at all? Because people were learning new stuff about DeVry based on the research that we had done up front and addressing the issues that we knew were problems and seeing whether or not was the spend effective. We can also talk about advertising strategy research. We talked about marketing research. The advertising strategy research helps to gain an understanding of the product concept. Do people understand the promise in the product? Do they understand the benefits and the features? Remember last week when we talked about the sales funnel and how at a certain point in time, if you've got a product that's relatively high involvement, people want to start collecting information about the brand and evaluating what you're telling them against other products that they're also currently thinking about buying. So this is where you're studying the concept. Is this concept going to work with consumers? You may also think about your target audience selection. Okay? Am I selling to the right people? Does this ad appeal to the people like we want it to appeal to? Media selection. What are the habits and practices and uses of people in our target market? If you know that they read a certain kind of magazine or a certain genre of magazine, you want to make sure that you've got that media in your media mix. Okay? So media research is the third level down in this research hierarchy. And it's systematically gathering and analyzing information on the reach. If I use the term reach, what's reach? Reach is how many people received my message, right? We talk about total impressions, and that's the reach times the frequency. Okay? Reach is how big an audience did you hit. Frequency is how many times did you hit them. And total number of impressions is multiplying those two terms together. Advertisers pay based on TRP. If I know that by advertising on Seinfeld for the season back in the day, I would hit 5 million households a week for 10 weeks or whatever long the season is. They were going to watch it every week. I was hitting 50 million people. For me to have 50 million impressions might be worth a certain number of millions of dollars for that brand. Okay? Then you've got message element selection. So this is all about doing some things. Message element selection is identifying which parts of my message are working, which parts are not working, and refining my ad until I've got it just right. So pre-testing. In pre-testing, we test the effectiveness of an ad for flaws in message content before we recommend it to our clients. It's conducted through focus groups. Okay? So a focus group, have you guys ever seen a focus group? What does that look like?
It's a group of people looking at different products and giving their opinions and what they see.
It's usually got a moderator. The moderator is trained in drawing people out and also in managing that group so that you don't have one guy or one girl who's really dominant and controlling the conversation. You want to make sure that you've got a good mix of comments coming out of the group. It's also a balanced group. You build the group so that it reflects the demographics of your target market as closely as possible, right? So that you know that what you're talking to or who you're talking to is a small micro version of your national target market. So you do that. And then there's a two-way mirror, like this window here. On the other side, if this was a focus group room, there would be a video camera like that. There would be the marketing team on the other side of that window, which is a mirror. So the people sitting here in the center of the room at a table that's headed by a moderator, and you've got representatives of your target market around the table, and you've got the marketers, the people that work on the brand across the room. You've got microphones in the room, and you've got cameras in the room that are all hidden. And these guys on the other side are sitting there watching and learning as it goes. You've got the microphone and you've got the camera so that you've got a takeaway of the day that you can study again later. But you've got the marketers in there because they may be learning things that we didn't realize before we did the focus group. And we may want to, on the fly, adjust what the moderator's talking about. Hey, I want to know more about that particular subject. You've got a runner who will kind of leave the room, go in, hand the lady or the guy a sheet of paper, she'll look at it, and then she's very good at this, thinking on the fly and bringing that topic that you just sent in there into the conversation. When you do 3 or 4 focus groups like this around the country, you're beginning to compile enough information that now you can say, I think I understand the situation. I want to go out and see how repeatable this is, and I want to see if I can project on a large enough basis something with accuracy. So now I'm going to create a survey. The survey goes out to literally thousands of people who, like the focus group, match or are a good reflection of your target audience, your target market. And now you're collecting so much information that it's statistically reliable. And I know, as the decision maker running the brand, that within a 95% confidence interval, I should have 63% of the market really interested in buying this new item. That's powerful information. That makes me feel, if I'm the one that's pulling the trigger, really confident that the item that I think I'm about to launch is a safe bet. Or if I'm testing advertising, that the campaign that we're about to spend millions on has been built correctly with the right messages, pushing the right levers, adjusting the right attitudes that will bring people towards or more inclined towards purchase.